Hello, sunshines. We are back with another session. In today's session, it looks like we'll be putting our CSS learning to use here with this Web Development Foundations project. So let's go ahead and start. Okay, so using CSS selectors, you'll give a recipe website some new style. If you get stuck during this project or would like to see an experienced developer work through it, click Get Unstuck to see a project walkthrough video. Okay, we're hoping for the best. So task one, before you begin, take a look at the site's structure in the index.html file. So let's take a look. Looking at the structure. Hail Caesar, quinoa salad, roasted chicken. Sounds good. Okay, simple enough. All right, start by making the image at the top of the page a little smaller. Navigate to the style.css file and write a CSS selector for the image tag. It's not supposed to do that. What have I done? Let me see if I can. There we go. Okay. Within its curly braces, right? So here we go. Start by making the image at the top of the page a little smaller. Navigate. Okay. So we're going to reference this image. So it should just be image. Open that curly brace. Then height. Let's paste that. Oops. Paste. And let's see how it goes. Yep, we did it. Next. Task two. The font size of the recipe description should be larger. In the style.css file, write a CSS selector for the dot description class. Within its curly braces, add the following CSS. See, they made that one easy and put the dot there for us. Did they? I think they did. Description. And open that curly brace. I'll copy this in here. Paste. Size. And let's see what the description actually is. Ingredients. Okay, kale and quinoa provide a healthy base for roasted chicken topped with a light Caesar sauce. So we're going to be looking at this text right here to see if anything changes. Ready? Let's save that. Lo and behold, it definitely got bigger. Next. Next, let's style the cooking time. The element on line 15 of the index.html file has an ID attribute of cook time. Navigate to the style.css and add a cook time ID selector. Inside of its curly braces, right? So let's go ahead and copy that. Now for our IDs, we use a hashtag. Sure. So we're gonna do hashtag cook time. Then we're going to open our curly brace and then paste that in there. So let's see, cook time, ID cook time. This total time, 45 minutes, is what we're going to be focusing on. Oops. What we're going to be focusing on. Then let's go ahead and run this in our CSS file. So, yep, it bolded our cook time. So now Let's change the bullet points of the ingredient list to squares instead of circles. Start by writing a selector for the LI elements inside the ingredients element. Then write this inside the curly braces. Okay, we're gonna copy that. Yeah, I feel like this part is way more complicated than I should make it. But I think we're gonna do ingredients first, like ingredients inside of, well, okay. Okay, so this is ingredients. We're going to do the list item inside of ingredients. So I think ingredients goes first. Dot ingredients, and then list item, then list item. We're gonna open our curly brace and paste that there. We're looking here at our list items. Let's run that. Yep. Did not overcomplicate that. Pattern back to me. Next, let's make the time for each preparation step appear gray. In the style.css file, write a selector for p elements that also have a class of .time. Then inside of the selectors, curly braces, write color of gray. So let's go ahead and copy that. So what we're doing here is we're going to specify p.time. I think that's right. And we're going to open our curly brace, paste that in there. And then let's just reference this this HTML file and see exactly where our P elements are. So P time, 40 minutes, 4 minutes, 1 minute. So here's where we'll see the time. 40 minutes, 4 minute, 1 minute. Whoops, 1 minute. And this should all be gray. Let's go to our CSS file and run that. Yep, that's it. All right. Next. At the bottom of the page, there's a link to the full recipe. Let's make the link a different color. Notice that in the index.html file on line 42, there is a P element with a class of citation, then an A element inside of it with a class of external link. Navigate to the style.css file and write a selector using the external link class. Then add this code inside the selector's curly braces. So let's go ahead and copy that. That was a mouthful, don't y'all think? On line 42, so let's go ahead and go to line 42. Scroll, 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 scroll. Here's line 42. This P element with the class of citation here. And then an A element inside of it. So here's our opening tag for that P element and then the closing tag. And inside of those tags is an anchor tag here. Anchor tag with a class of, external link. Navigate to the style.css file and write a selector using the external link class. Okay. All right, we already copied our code. I feel like this is simpler than it's making out to be, but let's see. External link. So since we're referring to a class, I put that dot there. And then I'm going to open the curly brace, paste that in, and so the text that has um, the link is here, as you can see in our HTML file, and then you can see it here in our browser. So what we're doing is changing that color to green. So let's see if this CSS works for this here. We're going to save that. Oh, perfect. Perfect. See, that was pretty simple. And then finally, let's make the font Helvetica instead of the default Times New Roman. Instead of writing multiple selectors to apply the font family property, write a selector that applies a font family attribute to all text at once. The selector should target the H1, H2, P, and LI elements. To change their font, include this line of code inside the curly braces. We're going to copy that. Now this, what are we asking for here? Instead of writing multiple selectors to apply the font family property, write a selector that applies a font family attribute to all text at once. Do we have any ideas in the chat? Write a selector that applies a font family attribute. Excuse me. Okay, let's see how to apply. Write a selector that applies a font family attribute to all text at once. CSS. Okay. This is the Code Academy forum. It's perfect. Let's go there. Oh, that's pretty simple. So here, someone is saying, is it wrong to choose the body selector to change all text at once? And the response would be no, that would be the simplest approach and the least specific. Okay, I've had enough here. Someone said, but what about using the asterisk selector for changing the font family to the entire text? Interesting. The response, it looks like, was the universal selector is hard to override, so should be carefully implemented when the real need is present. For your situation, simply give the whole document the font you wish to use. Okay, looks like we're going to be using the body selector in this case. So body, open a curly brace, copy, and paste that on here. We're changing the font from Times New Roman to Helvetica. Let's see if we see a difference. It's done. Excellent. That was pretty simple. All right, so it looks like we finished our quick little project. Let's click next. See if there's a quiz or anything we can go through together. All right. Well, it looks like that's all for this session. This was a quick one, just really base level, beginner level CSS. So I hope that this was helpful, at least to see how it's implemented. And until next time, sunshines.